like one of those rodeo guys. I'll tell you, Lawrence Taylor didn't start today. He injured his knee last week, but since he's come in the second quarter, he has really made his presence felt. Watch this. Blockers don't bother him. The guard's out on him, right through the guard. Grab Danielson. That's enough for that. Whap! There you go, right in the ground.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below or maybe even share this video. It would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, sadly, yesterday we lost a true, absolute, just unbelievable legend. John Madden passed away sadly at the age of 85. Looking online, I couldn't find a cause of death, but it said I also did read like unexpectedly, so it was kind of something must have just popped up that sadly took his life. Now at the end of this video, there's a little clip, and actually hear John Madden congratulating. He left a voice message to Tom Coughlin in the 2007 season. So at the end of this video, I'll just do my thing, and then at the very end, I'll play that clip so you can hear John Madden, who left an impression on Tom Coughlin, and he played it for his players too. So you'll see it at the end. But John Madden, I mean, he started coaching in 1969 at the age of 32. He had some guys on his roster that were older than he was. I mean, George Blanda was like 10 years older than he was. I mean, when he took, so he was young. One thing he said, because after the 68 season, the Raiders needed a new coach. And I remember John Madden was saying to himself, he has like many interviews that he's had throughout his life, but one of them, he was talking, and he said, I think I can do it. He said, either you can coach or you can't coach. And he said, I think I can coach. So he went into Mr. Al Davis's office, and he explained. I said, yeah, I think I can do it. He said something like, you don't have to be, 68, or you don't have to be a certain age, whatever. It's either you can or you can't. And he thought he could. He went in. Al Davis gave him a chance, and guys, the rest is history. He had a regular season record of 103, 32, and 7. Unfreaking believable. Basically won 3 out of every 4 games. I mean, just absolutely amazing. He was the youngest coach in the NFL history to eclipse the 100-win mark at the age of 42. I mean, let's see, he was in there for 10 years. 8 out of 10 years, they went to the playoffs. 8 out of 10 years, they won their division. 71 in his last season, 78, they didn't make the playoffs. But, I mean, it was unbelievable. Absolutely just unbelievable. I mean, what he did. Simply amazing. He holds the best winning percentage by an NFL coach with a minimum of 10 seasons, and he coached for exactly 10 seasons. His winning percentage is .759. Simply, truly amazing. They won Super Bowl. They beat the Minnesota Vikings 32-14. I believe it was Super Bowl 11, because I think Super Bowl 10 was the Steelers and the Cowboys. That was in 75. So in 76 was Super Bowl 11. So yeah, they whooped up on the Vikings 32-14. One of the things I remember was the first time the Giants ever played the Raiders was out in 73. They went out to Oakland, and I remember the game. It was on TV. It was at 4 o'clock. I was 9 years old. I was living in Wisconsin, New York. Remember the game was on, and Giants lost 42-0. I was just like, the whole game, I was just like shaking my. It was just so. I mean, you think we're bad now. I mean, that was one of the most absolutely pathetic football. It was like the Raiders were known for being mean and all that and everything. It was just like the Giants just wanted to go in there and just not piss the Raiders off, just let the Raiders win, keep them happy, and just kind of get the heck out of Dodge. I mean, it was unbelievable. That was one of the most pathetic football games I've ever seen. I mean, you think the 34-10. I mean, try the 42-0 game against the Raiders in 1973. He was part of some of the greatest games ever, especially games that had, and a lot of games they have names to them, like 1978 against the San Diego Chargers, the Holy Roller. The Ghost to the Post, the 1977 playoff game between the Raiders and the Baltimore Colts. Dave Casper took Casper, the friendly ghost, ran a post pattern. Ken Stabler hit him. I mean, it was famous play there. Helped send the game into overtime. The Sea of Hands game, Clarence Davis caught a pass in the 1974 playoff game against the Dolphins. The Dolphins had been to the last 3 Super Bowls. They were trying to go to their 4th Super Bowl in a row. And the Miami Dolphins went into Oakland, and it was just absolutely incredible football game. The Raiders wound up winning 28-26, but just unbelievable game. Simply amazing to see. Hands. And of course the immaculate receptions. Franco Harris, 1972 playoff game, catching the ball and running it in for a touchdown. He was 7-6 with like 22 seconds to go in the game, and they caught the ball. We're not even sure if he even caught the ball. There's no film footage actually, I think, showing the ball, if the ball was touching the ground when he caught it or not. But the immaculate reception. I mean, it's just some phenomenal games. And he only had, as a coach, he only had 3 rules. Rule number 1 is be on time, like for meetings and practices and all that. Be on time. Rule number 2, pay attention. You know, if you're at a meeting or practice, whatever, if I'm talking or whatever, pay attention. And rule number 3 was play like heck when I told you to. Those are the only 3 rules he had. Didn't care what the guys, what their hair was like, if they shaved, what kind of clothes they wore, this, that, and the other. You know, didn't care. He just had 3 rules. And I'll tell you what, the Raiders played really, really good for him. He retired after the 1978 season. He coached for 10 years. And then in 1979, from 1979 to 2008, he was in broadcasting. I mean, broadcasting football games. He was like light beer for Miller commercials. He was, I mean, oh, my God. He was everywhere. In 1988, of course, they launched the Madden football, I mean, which is still going strong today. 2006, he was in the Hall of Fame. Luckily, my son and I were at that ceremony in 2006 because sadly my son's a Cowboy fan, and the Cowboys had Troy Aikman, who my son, and Rayfield Wright went in too, but my son doesn't know Rayfield Wright because he played in the 70s. But my son liked Troy Aikman. And also, I liked, it was a bonus for us Giants fans, that's when Harry Carson got nominated. You know, got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it was a real special ceremony, especially for me and my son. We had a fantastic time. John Madden, when he was had his speech, he had a lot of guys laughing. I mean, because he was like, I think at nighttime, I think when they turned the lights off, he like in the Hall of Fame, I think the bus talked to each other. And also there was another. He had a lot of his older players came, and he was like talking about them, and he said, he asked the guys to rise, to stand up, guys, stand up, man, look. He's like, kind of like, look. I remember this. We were like on the side, you know, of them, and I got a videotape of it all and everything. But he was like talking to his guys, and look where we're at, guys. Look what we did. Look, we're here. You know, he was talking, and all of a sudden some of his guys started sitting back down again. He said, oh, no, stand up, keep standing up, stand up. And he would talk some more, and some of his guys would start sitting down again. Oh, no, keep standing up, look. I'll never forget that. He was absolutely hilarious. So, I mean, he was just, you know, just simply, he was an amazing guy, absolutely amazing coach. He only coached for 10 years, then he called it quits. You know, nowadays, you know, he would make a small fortune with his record of coaching. Now he broadcast some of the most, you know, the Giants games from the 80s, some of the best games that they had in the 80s. Now even into the 90s and all, and you know, he was still broadcasting. But I mean, some of the ones that he broadcast in the 80s was the 1981. The last game of the season, the Cowboys versus the Giants, was on December 19th, 1981 in Giants Stadium. The Giants wound up winning in overtime. The Giants won, put them at 9-7. But they had to wait because on Monday night, the Jets and the Packers were playing. And if the Packers won, the Packers would have gotten to the playoffs. But if the Jets beat the Packers, the Giants would have gotten to the playoffs. So the Giants were hoping and praying that the Jets would win. The Jets won 28-3, put the Giants in the playoffs, and not only that, put the Jets in the playoffs. Both teams were in the playoffs in 1981. Neither team had been in the playoffs throughout the 70s. The Giants made in 1981, the first time they made the playoffs since '63. The Jets made the playoffs in '81. That was the first time since 1969 they played the playoffs. So huge game. I mean, that was a phenomenal game. Joe Danello kicked the game-winning field goal in overtime. He broadcast that game. The 1981 wild card game, you know, the next game after that was December 27th, 1981. The Giants wound up winning 27-21. That was their first playoff win since 1956. You know, they beat the Eagles 27-21. It's the first time in 25 years that they'd won a playoff game. 1956, when he broadcast that game with Pat Summerall. 1982, the Thanksgiving Day game. The Giants versus the Lions. The Giants won 13-6 when Lawrence Taylor had a pick six, ran it back 97 yards for a touchdown. You know, he broadcast that game. The 1984 game, the playoff game, the Giants at the Rams, December 23rd, 1984. The Giants won 16-13. He broadcast that game. The 1985 wild card game at home, December 29th, 1985. The Giants beat the 49ers 17-3. That was the first home playoff win for the Giants since 1956. So basically it was like almost like 30 seasons that they played before they actually had another, or 29 seasons before they actually had a home playoff win. I mean, could you imagine that? 29 years you had to wait from 56 to 85 before you got a home playoff win? Oh my God. 1986, a divisional playoff game, January 4th, 1987, when the Giants beat the 49ers 49-3. He broadcast that game. 1986, the championship game, January 11th, 1987, when the Giants beat the Redskins 17-0. Him and Pat Summerall broadcast that game. Super Bowl 21, January 25th, 1987, when the Giants beat the Broncos 39-20. John Madden did that game. 1990, the divisional playoffs, January 13th, 1991, when the Giants whooped up on the Bears 31-3. He broadcast that game. And the 1990 championship game on January 20th, 1991, when the Giants went into San Francisco. He beat the 49ers 15-13 on a last-second Matt Barr field goal. He broadcast that game. So, I mean, you know, and that was just in the 80s, you know. But that was when the Giants won the Super Bowls, you know, and by the time, like, with 2008, he retired, you know. So, I mean, the Giants had some games also in the 1990s and all that and everything. But just, throughout his broadcasting, he did a lot of the Giant games. So, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, just to give him a shout out, you know, because he was just something super spectacular. Just a wonderful person, wonderful coach, and he'll never be forgotten. And now what I'm going to do is to do my thing, I'll just shut up and you can listen to the voice message he left for Tom Coughlin. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time any day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!
In Week 17 of the 2007 season, the New York Giants had given the New England Patriots all they could handle. And their heroic effort did not go unnoticed by one of the NFL's all-time great coaches.
I come in the next morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, my message lights up. I listen to a voicemail from John Madden.
Yeah, Tom, this is John Madden calling on Sunday morning just to congratulate you and your team for a great effort last night. You know, not good, but great. And we were getting too much of that. You know, well, they're going to rest their players. They don't need it. And that's not sports, and that's not competition. And
he said, I'm pretty emotional now, but I want to tell you that in the NFL, we play to win. We don't play for ties. We don't play to rest people. We play competitively to win. That's the credibility of our sport, giving great effort.
Anyway, a little emotional about it, but I was so damn, proud of what you guys did. It's something that we all ought to thank you for, because, believe me, the NFL needed that. Congratulations.
I played it to our team. I played it to them so they could hear exactly what John Madden said about our effort to beat the New England Patriots, and we felt we should have won.
We played a hell of a football game against them, and it really, again, gave us such confidence to hear something from a Hall of Fame football coach about how proud he was of us, about how hard we played. I mean, it was incredible.
I mean, John Madden is the purest football man in the world, and he was just complimenting Tom and us, the team, on how we had approached that game.
I think that loss did everything for us. We felt that they gave us their best punch. If it wasn't for the mistakes and things that we made, that we came up short. It was 38-35, but we knew right then and there that we could beat them.